Illinois Real Estate Exam Agency questions. Question 1. A consumer asks why a state real estate recovery fund might exist. Which purpose is closest during Hayden's Elgin Lakefront Cottage file review? Option A. Providing a limited source of recovery for certain losses caused by licensee misconduct when statutory requirements are met. Option B. Guaranteeing every buyer a profit on resale. Option C. Paying all ordinary home repairs after closing. Option D. Replacing the need for broker licensing. The correct answer is option A. Providing a limited source of recovery for certain losses caused by licensee misconduct when statutory requirements are met. Recovery funds are designed as limited consumer minus protection remedies for qualifying misconduct minus related losses. They do not guarantee investment profit, pay routine repairs, or replace licensing and discipline systems. Question 2. A tenant with a disability requests a reasonable accommodation to use the rental property. How should the property manager analyze the request during Parker's normal suburban ranch home file review? Option A. Deny every accommodation to keep rules identical. Option B. Evaluate whether the request is reasonable and necessary for equal use and enjoyment of the housing. Option C. Approve only accommodations requested by owners. Option D. Treat the request as an automatic eviction notice. The correct answer is option B. Evaluate whether the request is reasonable and necessary for equal use and enjoyment of the housing. Fair housing analysis considers whether an accommodation is reasonable and related to the tenant's disability minus related needs. Blanket denial, owner minus only approval standards, or treating the request as eviction would conflict with the purpose of accommodation rules. Question 3. A small rental property has annual net operating income of $36,000 and an indicated capitalization rate of 7%. What value is suggested by the income approach during Reese's Carbondale Commercial Suite file review? Option A. $252,000. Option B. $5,143. Option C. $514,286. Option D. $257,143. The correct answer is option C. $514,286. The income approach using direct capitalization divides NOI by the capitalization rate. $36,000 divided by 7% equals about $514,286. The other answers multiply by the rate, treat the percent as a whole number, or cut the indicated value in half. Stressed about your Illinois real estate exam? We can take Illinois real estate exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 4. Casey has completed high school and wants a first Illinois broker license after finishing coursework in Peoria. Which education path most directly satisfies the standard broker pre-minus license requirement? Option A. Only a 15-hour leasing agent course. Option B. 45 hours of managing broker education without broker coursework. Option C. A continuing education course completed after licensure. Option D. 60 hours of broker pre-minus license topics plus 15 hours of interactive applied real estate principles. The correct answer is option D. 60 hours of broker pre-minus license topics plus 15 hours of interactive applied real estate principles. Illinois broker candidates in the standard path complete 75 class hours made up of 60 hours of broker topics and 15 hours of interactive applied principles. A leasing course is for residential leasing agents, managing broker education is a different license path, and continuing education applies after licensure rather than before the broker exam. Question 5. Quinn is comparing loan terms and closing disclosures. Which federal lending framework is commonly tested with residential mortgage transactions during Blair's Moline single-family home file review? Option A. TRID and related TILA-RESPA disclosure rules. Option B. The statute of descent and distribution. Option C. The rule against perpetuities only. Option D. A zoning variance issued by the City Council. The correct answer is option A. TRID and related TILA-RESPA disclosure rules. Residential mortgage questions often test TILA, RESPA, and integrated TRID disclosures that help borrowers compare costs and terms. The other choices deal with inheritance, property-law doctrines, or land-use approvals rather than consumer mortgage disclosure. Question 6. A property is worth $322,000 and has a loan balance of $129,000. Approximately how much equity does the owner have during Quincy 2-flat building file review? Option A, $451,000. Option B, $193,000. Option C, $129,000. Option D, $257,600. The correct answer is option B, $193,000. Equity is the property's value minus debt secured by the property, so $322,000 minus $129,000 equals $193,000. The distractors add debt, report the loan balance, or use an unsupported percentage of value. Question 7. Cameron failed one portion of the Illinois broker licensing exam several times during the eligibility period. After the fourth unsuccessful attempt, what must happen before testing again? Option A. The candidate may immediately test an unlimited number of times. Option B. Only the national portion must be retaken without additional education. Option C. The candidate must retake the required broker pre-license education before retesting. Option D. The candidate automatically receives a leasing agent license. The correct answer is option C. The candidate must retake the required broker pre-license education before retesting. Illinois exam rules allow broker candidates up to 4 attempts during the eligibility period. After a fourth failed attempt, the candidate must complete the required pre-license education again before retaking the examination. Unlimited attempts, partial automatic exemptions, and automatic licensure are not supported. Question 8. A property manager named Riley collects rents, screens tenants, arranges maintenance, and accounts for owner funds. Which duty is most central? Option A, guaranteeing that every tenant will renew. Option B, commingling all rents with personal funds. Option C, ignoring fair housing laws during screening. Option D, managing the property in the owner's interest while properly accounting for funds and records. The correct answer is option D, managing the property in the owner's interest while properly accounting for funds and records. Property managers owe duties tied to the management agreement, owner instructions, legal compliance, and accurate accounting. They cannot guarantee renewals, commingle funds, or ignore fair housing requirements while screening tenants.
Are you looking for AccuPlacer exam actual questions? Visit our website pokerexams.com to access AccuPlacer exam study guide with actual questions and answers. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get AccuPlacer exam answer key today.
Question 9. A buyer purchases for $180,000, makes a 10% down payment, and has $3,500 in closing costs. About how much cash is needed at closing before credits? Option A, $21,500. Option B, $18,000. Option C, $3,500. Option D, $176,500. The correct answer is option A, $21,500. Cash needed combines the down payment and closing costs. 10% of $180,000 plus $3,500 equals $21,500. The other choices omit either the costs or the down payment, or subtract costs from the price incorrectly. Question 10. Alex negotiates the sale of another person's farm parcel for a promised fee. Under Illinois licensing principles, why would this activity generally require a real estate license? Option A. It is allowed without a license if the property is residential. Option B. It involves brokerage activity for compensation on behalf of another person. Option C. It is exempt whenever the fee is paid after closing. Option D. It requires only a notary commission instead of a real estate license. The correct answer is option B. It involves brokerage activity for compensation on behalf of another person. Negotiating real estate transactions for another person for compensation is a core licensed brokerage activity. Residential status, delayed payment, or holding an unrelated notary commission does not remove the need for the proper real estate license. Question 11. A broker representing Kendall receives confidential negotiating information. Which duty is most directly triggered? Option A. Revealing all confidential strategy to the opposing party. Option B. Changing the purchase price without permission. Option C. Protecting confidential information unless disclosure is authorized or legally required. Option D. Ignoring lawful client instructions. The correct answer is option C. Protecting confidential information unless disclosure is authorized or legally required. Agency and brokerage duties include protecting confidential information while also making required disclosures. Revealing strategy, changing terms without authority, or ignoring lawful instructions would violate core client-service duties. Question 12. A rental property has NOI of $26,000 and a value estimate of $320,000. Approximately what capitalization rate is indicated during Rowan's Naperville rental duplex file review? Option A, 4.1%. Option B, 11.1%. Option C, 12.3%. Option D, 8.1%. The correct answer is option D, 8.1%. The capitalization rate is NOI divided by value, so $26,000 divided by $320,000 is about 8.1%. The other answers have the rate, add unsupported points, or invert the formula. Question 13. Harper wants to pay a sponsored Illinois licensee, Kendall, directly for help with a purchase. How should compensation normally be handled? Option A. The sponsored licensee should receive compensation through the sponsoring broker. Option B. The buyer may pay the licensee directly at any time. Option C. The title company must split the fee directly with the licensee. Option D. The licensee may accept a secret bonus if the transaction closes. The correct answer is option A. The sponsored licensee should receive compensation through the sponsoring broker. A sponsored licensee is normally compensated through the sponsoring broker rather than directly by the public. Direct payment, title minus company fee splitting outside the broker relationship, and secret bonuses create licensing, disclosure, and compensation problems. Question 14. A study question asks whether an interest is life estate. What is the candidate being tested on during Casey's Bloomington Suburban Ranch home file review? Option A. The amount of commission owed to the broker. Option B. The nature and duration of rights held in real property. Option C. The mortgage interest rate. Option D. The required size of a residential disclosure form. The correct answer is option B. The nature and duration of rights held in real property. Estates and land describe the nature and duration of property rights. Commission, loan interest rates, and disclosure minus form size are separate topics and do not define the estate itself. Question 15. A buyer obtains a loan of $163,799 on a property appraised at $210,000. Approximately what is the loan minus to minus value ratio during Morgan's Champagne Commercial Suite file review? Option A, 22%. Option B, 88%. Option C, 78%. Option D, 63%. The correct answer is option C, 78%. Loan minus to minus value is calculated by dividing the loan amount by the appraised value, $163,799 divided by $210,000, or about 78%. The other percentages confuse equity with LTV or use an incorrect numerator or denominator. Question 16. During a first substantial discussion, Taylor asks Morgan whether the brokerage represents the buyer, the seller, or both. Why should the relationship be clarified early? Option A. The relationship is irrelevant until after closing. Option B. A broker owes no duties until a deed is recorded. Option C. Agency disclosure is needed only for commercial leases. Option D. Agency and brokerage relationships affect duties, confidentiality, and the consumer's expectations. The correct answer is option D. Agency and brokerage relationships affect duties, confidentiality, and the consumer's expectations. Brokerage relationships determine duties such as disclosure, confidentiality, obedience to lawful instructions, and care. Waiting until closing, tying duties only to deed recording, or limiting disclosure concepts to commercial leases would leave the consumer without important relationship information. Question 17. A buyer wants to operate a retail shop in a residentially zoned property in Evanston. Which issue should be investigated before closing? Option A. Whether zoning permits the intended use or whether an approval such as a variance is needed. Option B. Whether the deed automatically changes zoning. Option C. Whether the broker can override the ordinance. Option D. Whether title insurance guarantees business income. The correct answer is option A. Whether zoning permits the intended use or whether an approval such as a variance is needed. Zoning controls land use, so the buyer's intended use must be permitted or approved through the proper local process. A deed, broker preference, or title insurance policy does not automatically change zoning or guarantee business income. Question 18. A buyer asks about a rumor says the property is haunted, but there is no physical defect or legal restriction affecting the property. Why may this be treated differently from a material defect? Option A. Every rumor must be included in the deed. Option B. Stigmatizing facts usually do not have the same disclosure treatment as physical or legal defects. Option C. The broker must create a structural inspection report. Option D. The seller must lower the price by statute. The correct answer is option B. Stigmatizing facts usually do not have the same disclosure treatment as physical or legal defects. Stigmatized minus property issues generally differ from material physical defects or title/legal problems. Rumors do not belong in a deed, brokers do not create structural inspection reports, and statutes do not automatically set a required price reduction for a stigma. Stressed about your Illinois real estate exam? We can take Illinois real estate exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 19. A business offers to find apartments for renters in exchange for a fee. Why might Illinois licensing law be implicated during Cameron's Oak Park condominium unit file review? Option A. Rental minus finding services are always exempt regardless of activity. Option B. Only sellers can trigger licensing law. Option C. Rental minus finding services can involve regulated real estate activity when performed for compensation. Option D. The service becomes legal if no written records are kept. The correct answer is option C. Rental minus finding services can involve regulated real estate activity when performed for compensation. Rental minus finding and leasing minus related services may be regulated when performed for compensation. The activity is not automatically exempt, licensing law is not limited to sales, and failing to keep records does not cure an unlicensed activity issue. Question 20. A buyer is reviewing required environmental paperwork involving LEED-based paint information for pre-1978 housing. Why are these disclosures commonly tested during Drew's Decatur townhome file review? Option A. They guarantee the property has no environmental condition. Option B. They replace the purchase contract entirely. Option C. They require the broker to perform engineering tests in every sale. Option D. They help buyers evaluate known or potential environmental risks before becoming bound to the transaction. The correct answer is option D. They help buyers evaluate known or potential environmental risks before becoming bound to the transaction. Environmental disclosure laws are designed to inform buyers about known or potential risks before or during the contracting process. They do not guarantee a problem-free property, replace the contract, or require brokers to perform technical engineering tests in every transaction. Question 21. A licensee knowingly misrepresents a material fact to induce a buyer to sign. Which licensing consequence is most relevant during Hayden's Elgin small apartment building file review? Option A, disciplinary action for unprofessional or dishonest conduct. Option B, automatic zoning approval. Option C, a mandatory title insurance payout. Option D, a tax prioration credit only. The correct answer is option A, disciplinary action for unprofessional or dishonest conduct. Knowing misrepresentation can trigger discipline because it harms consumers and violates professional standards. Zoning approval, title insurance payout, and tax prioration are unrelated remedies for this licensing misconduct. Question 22. Quinn and Sydney both claim the same earnest money after a failed Illinois purchase contract. How should the broker view disbursement? Option A. The broker may give the money to the latter party. Option B. The broker should follow the contract, written instructions, or lawful dispute minus resolution process before releasing funds. Option C. The broker must always keep the money as commission. Option D. The buyer automatically receives the money regardless of contract terms. The correct answer is option B. The broker should follow the contract, written instructions, or lawful dispute minus resolution process before releasing funds. Earnest money disputes require careful handling under the contract and applicable escrow rules. A broker cannot choose based on pressure, convert the money into commission without entitlement, or ignore the party's contract rights. Question 23. A commercial tenant pays base rent plus a share of property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. Which lease type is most likely being described during Reese's Carbondale vacant lot file review? Option A, gross lease. Option B, ground lease only. Option C, net lease. Option D, life estate. The correct answer is option C, net lease. A net lease shifts some or all operating expenses to the tenant in addition to base rent. A gross lease usually places expenses primarily on the landlord. A ground lease concerns land rental, and a life estate is an ownership interest rather than a lease minus payment structure. Question 24. An unlicensed assistant named Alex is asked to explain offer terms to a buyer at an open house. Why is that risky during Alex's Galesburg rental duplex file review? Option A. Unlicensed assistants may perform every brokerage task if unpaid. Option B. Only title companies need real estate licenses. Option C. Licensed supervision converts negotiation into clerical work. Option D. Explaining or negotiating transaction terms can cross into licensed activity. The correct answer is option D. Explaining or negotiating transaction terms can cross into licensed activity. Unlicensed assistants may perform clerical or administrative tasks, but explaining terms, negotiating, or advising consumers may require a license. Being unpaid, supervised, or involved with a title company does not transform licensed brokerage functions into purely clerical work. Question 25. A settlement service provider offers a broker a hidden referral fee for steering buyers to that provider. Which federal concern is most likely during Blair's Moline Lakefront Cottage file review? Option A. RESPA restrictions on kickbacks and unearned fees. Option B. Fixture classification. Option C. Adverse possession. Option D. The rectangular survey system. The correct answer is option A. RESPA restrictions on kickbacks and unearned fees. RESPA addresses prohibited kickbacks and unearned fees involving settlement services. Fixtures, adverse possession, and land survey systems are unrelated to hidden settlement minus service referral payments.